last week we were talking, and one thing that you said kind of like struck with me. And it was, your road trip that you went on, the Channel Strong. And you were saying that, people basically want to talk out of anything that has a speaker and a microphone.
Hmm.
And, like I just went on a trip with my family, and I was literally like, I did an entire day of coaching appointments. I was working off of like an ironing board in a hotel.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, I didn't throw a Polycom in my bag to take it with me. I was just kind of like sitting there. I had my headset. I was ready to go. Like, that's how I was working. So the combination of those two things has really made me thinking is like, what is the future for the hardware aspect of the market? Are you seeing that there is still like, is that just completely commoditized and that everybody should be focused on back end?
Phones, like desk phones, are going to be around for a long while. I don't think they're going to disappear. Frankly, it's a experience thing, right? Everybody wants to experience the things the way they want to. It's like buying a cell phone. Not everybody's iPhone versus Android versus OnePlus versus whatever, right? And it comes again with computers, right? I'm a Microsoft Surface guy. You may be a Lenovo guy. Somebody may be a Dell guy. Somebody may be an Apple guy. It's all about what you like, right? So that's number one. Number two is mobility, right? I mean, we had at one point, eight people on this bus driving around America. We had three hotspots from Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, and every single person had calls. Every single person had web meetings. Every single person had to ebb and flow. Right? They still had day jobs, even though we were like gallivanting across the country. So at the end of the day, the reality is everybody's device profile is going to change. It's going to be different, and frankly, there's a huge push now towards very good headsets. I mean, Bluetooth technology has been around for ever, but whether it's wired or wireless Bluetooth type headsets, right? Or like little accessories that follow that up, right? Like we see a lot, like we use Busy Lights, one of those USB lamps that you can plug into the side of your computer, so that if you're on a call, somebody knows that you're on, rather than they don't know if you're walking down the hallway, if you have headphones, if you're occupied or not, kind of thing. So like there's all these little gizmos and gadgets that tie into the, hey, I could be working out of my trunk, I could be working off the ironing board like you said, I could be working in the RV tour bus like I was. Basically it could be anywhere, and there's a lot of movement towards things like noise cancellation and smart technology that can like weed out the noisier people on conference calls and stuff like that, right? And that stuff's definitely percolating up to the top of the barrel. But you're 100% right that like there, I'd say two out of probably now post pandemic, or getting towards post pandemic. I'd say three or four out of every 20 deployments, are completely soft, meaning there is no device, there is no Polycom phone like you said, or conference room phone or whatever, right? The device is AirPods, the device is, the headphones you're wearing, the device is some sort of USB headset, right? I mean, and frankly, I carry multiple with me, right? Because, they're all batteried now, right? Especially like when you used to get on the planes and you're like, all right, what happens if I'm on a really long flight? My battery dies, right? So, you could get away with the AirPods, or you could go with the more expensive, more professional kind of noise canceling, call center-ish type headset. I mean, price makes a difference. Your mobility makes a difference. Preference makes a difference. Like Kevin, do you like the two, over the ear one? Some people like the one over the ear one. Some people like the ear. Like everybody's like experience is gonna be personal to them.
Right. Yeah. And so, I bought these because at the time I was doing like audio only. I've actually been shopping because I'm like, now I'm on video with these like giant headsets, but actually it's become like my thing. So I'm good with it. But like, it made me think now, like that, what you said about like kind of coming up with your kit, because I'll tell you what, like as an MSP, when it comes to like supporting, like we tried to get everybody off of Bluetooth devices at the time because it was unreliable. Now, our help desk is having to like try to support somebody's Bluetooth device that they bought off of Amazon. And it just is like one of those things. It takes so much time. And it's like, where's the compensation for that? It's not in the phone service. And so that's, I think, one of the challenges now. Like, and we could talk about the work from home transition, but that's kind of been oversaturated. But it's very relevant to this concept. Is like, how do you support it on the back end when you have all these kits out there?
So here's the reality. And this comes with desk phones. And we said this last week, right? Hey, sign a 3-year deal. I'm going to give you a $50, $40, $30 phone. Hey, price matters. I'm not saying don't overbuy, but I'm not saying the $12 Amazon headset's good either, right? Like, you want to be middle of the road, but as somebody who's trying to offer a solution to their customer, yeah, you need to standardize. You need to pick the 2 or 3 or 4 options that you already have one at the shop. You've tested it. You know how it works. Because otherwise, what are you going to do? You're going to buy every version of every headset everybody ever calls up with. I mean, it's impossible to support. And don't let your customer necessarily dictate that to you. You should have those decisions made ahead of time and present that ahead of time, right? And I understand, with the pandemic that hit us, people shifted quick, right? There was a point where you couldn't buy a webcam, I mean, anywhere. And I get that. But then there's the cleanup effect after that, right? Like, standardization is still super important. And the time burn on the cheap stuff, I mean, you almost just throw it away and you buy the next one, right? I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's what ends up happening.